Okay, folks, we're here to do a toolbox talk. We do every week. This one is on noise. Introduction to noisy workplace is often something we don't even think twice about in construction. We take it for granted. And while noisy activities are a common part of the construction process, how we protect ourselves in that environment is something that we need to think about. Hearing loss among construction was all too common in the past, but education, PPE, standards, and enforcement have come a long way. The overview, as with any hazard, we need to look to first eliminate the risk by removing the noise or removing ourselves from it. Having that work being done when you're not next to it, if it's being done by another trade. If elimination is not an option, then we have to determine what protective measures, including PPE, can be used to reduce the exposure. In order to perform hazard assessment and mitigation, we need to understand how noise exists in construction. There are two categories of noise we need to address with different strategies. Any idea? Two different kinds of noise that we have to deal with? Continuous and non-continuous? Impulse or impulsive. Continuous noise is relatively concentrated over an extended period of time. Fans, generators, foremen talking, even the ambient noise of general construction activity, voices, small tools, people walking around. Impulsive noise is sudden, intense, and short. It's more typical of a hammer drill, a drywall screw gun, like the clutch when it lets go, powder actuated tools, or when the HVAC guys are working, they're called tin knockers for a reason. How loud is too loud? Sound is measured in decibels. You can use a decibel meter like this one here. 85 decibels is an acceptable level to be exposed to for a 9-hour shift. You can see the common noise around here is, while I'm talking, it's about 75. If you don't have a sound meter, consider that two people standing about a meter apart should be able to speak without raising their voices. That's equivalent to less than 85 decibels. So what can be done? Reducing exposure can be achieved easiest by increasing the distance between you and the noise. Sound doubles every 3 decibels measured, and it's reduced by 6 decibels if you double the distance between you and the noise. For example, a lawnmower is producing 90 decibels of noise for a worker who is 1 meter away. If you move away by another meter to create 2 meters of separation, the noise exposure is down to 84. That's a 75% reduction. Plan work activities to maximize distance between the tasks and excessive construction noise, especially impulsive noise. Sometimes it's not feasible to create that separation from the noise, especially if you're the one who's operating the tool that's making the noise. In that case, PPE is your best option. Many options available from earplugs, earmuffs, ear canal caps, different styles and manufacturers for each. If a worker is going to be exposed to repeated impulsive noise, noise-canceling earmuffs are recommended, similar to the type that they use at shooting ranges. It reacts and cuts down the sudden noise, but it still allows for conversation to take place. They work electronically, and you can carry on a conversation. At the end of the day, we all want to work safe so that we can go home safe, using common sense to look after your hearing and all of your 5 senses. Unless you can play a mean pinball, then you're going to need your senses for the rest of your life and your career. And if you don't understand that, ask somebody over 50. These minimum training and equipment requirements, if followed correctly, will greatly reduce the risk of serious injury on the job site. For more information regarding this, look at the Green Book of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. We're going to take a brief check to do a demonstration of the sound with the hammer drill, and then we'll get back to work. Jack, you want to